again, I'm very, very involved in the schools, talk to the teachers, talk to the parents, look at the effects of cuts that would be considered, and make my decision from there.
Thank you. Okay, I have two questions here. The first one will be for Garrett Rhodes, followed by Wally Vanoskis. How do you feel about the proposed voucher bill, Senate Bill 1?
Admittedly, I don't know. Is this on?
Hey, that works a little better. Admittedly, I have not read through SB 1. I think a school voucher program, in some way, shape, or form, is important to give parents choice as to where they get to send their children. However, I think the current bill, what little I do know of it, is not structured in a financially sound way. So with this particular bill, if I were a representative voting on it, I would have to say I would vote against it because it has not been properly financially planned out. I agree with the voucher program in theory, but it has to be financially viable or it won't work.
Thank you. Mr. Vanoskis?
I think the concept is flawed, and I think one of the biggest challenges we have in Pennsylvania is there are 500 and some school districts, and we try to create one solution for 500 extremely different kinds of school districts. I think that while a voucher program might be meaningful in some sort of, in maybe an inner city school district, if people see that as an option, if you're a failing school, what to do, those same kinds of problems. We don't have failing schools in the school district, and so it unfairly addresses tries to address issues that we don't have here in the school district. Additionally, it penalizes schools that are struggling in lower socioeconomic situations where you don't have the parent support. You have one-parent family, somebody's working 2 jobs to try to pay the rent, and their kids going to school, and so they're going to take money away from those schools because they're not doing as well, so that they do worse. And I think that it's an attempt at a solution. But it doesn't really address the real issues behind failing schools in the city.
Thank you. I have a rebuttal card. Do you know what SB1 is? What they want to do is they want to give corporations tax credits. They give it to a pass-through organization who then gives it to parents, and then parents give it to a private school of their choice. The whole reason they set this up is to get around the constitutional prohibition on giving money to sectarian schools. Look, if you want to do that, you better change the Constitution. This is an unconstitutional approach to get around to the back door and give money to private schools. Thank you. This next question is for Brian Higgins, followed by Julian Stoltz. The arts, meaning art, music, band, chorus, and theater, involve more students than athletics, yet are underfunded. How would you address this?
Actually, I'm really happy to get this question. That's a very interesting subject, and I think all extracurricular activities should be funded equally, regardless of how many people are involved. But just give you an idea of where I come from this. I'm the president of the Lower Mackenzie Youth Association, so everything I do is athletics. If it wasn't for the fact that I was involved in the drama club through high school and through college, I wouldn't be able to stand up here in front of all of you tonight and be able to tell you what I think about these questions. It allowed me to be able to expand my mind, to be able to understand how to present to people and have a conversation more than any athletic team I was ever on. They taught me different aspects, whether it's discipline and hard work. But the fact that I was involved in the theater changed my life dramatically, pardon the pun. And I think it's only fair that those students who are involved and give their time to that get the same amount of funding as any athlete that we have.
Thank you. Mr. Stoltz.
I must say that I largely concur with Mr. Higgins. I think that the arts need to be, all arts need to be as well funded
as our sports teams. And if there are any discrepancies, I would, as I always do, welcome parents and any students who are concerned about this to come to the school board, tell us what they think is unfair, where they need more funding, what they're going to do with it, and so forth. We should be an open forum for that sort of thing. And everything should be funded equally. I know that there are some communities where, the football team is held in higher regard than the drama club. I don't think that's true in East Penn. I think that the community is very supportive of all of those things, as they all should be. They contribute to very well-rounded, very well-educated students, and this is something that we need to continue. And I would absolutely vote to do anything that I could to continue that. Well, that being said, I should mention that as a fairly recent graduate of East Penn, I still have the pleasure of having friends who are in some of those programs. So they would personally shoot me, probably, if I were to cut them. Thanks.
Thank you.
This next question is first for Scott Aquila, then John Balin. If you look beyond the current budget crisis, what do you feel is the next looming issue facing East Penn?
Well, I'm actually very excited to get this question. One of the things that I would look to do as a school board member that I think is done in some respects by the past boards, but maybe I would look to push it a little bit more, is to be more proactive. Be more proactive in several ways. I think obviously we're all very aware of the development that has gone on here in the East Penn School District area. We can obviously read the newspaper and we can follow the committee online to see what new development is coming down the road. I think there needs to be better communication, not isolation, not silos between county commissioners, the school board, the youth associations, those types of organizations, the PTO, etc. Again, a community coming together to deal with what turns out to be community issues and not just saying this is a school board issue, or as some here will point and say this is a state problem, or this is a personal like or dislike problem. So as far as budgetary stuff goes, I would look to be more proactive. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Balin.
Not being a school board member as of now, I'd have to look into it, but I would say the population increase in Little Country Township. That's a concern because it is one of the faster growing districts. That's a concern for me, and I would just, like I said, I'm not on the school board right now, but I would look into everything. I just think that the large population increase in Little Country Township is a concern for our school district down the road.
Thank you. This next question, first for Lynn Donches, then Ken Bacher. What do you see as the top 2 priorities of the school district in the next 4 years?
I think the top 2 priorities in the next 4 years are 1, fiscal responsibility, and 2, transparency. Just to make sure that we are channeling all of our resources towards the education of the student and not to the non-education. And then for the transparency, I would love to see the meetings webcast so that, say for instance, tonight, it's a great turnout, but a lot of people aren't able to make it. There's even a school event for the 5th graders this evening, so all of those parents, aren't available to come. And I think it would be really wonderful, just in not just this, but a normal school board meeting should be webcast so that people can see the meetings. And then also just to have the documents available on the website before the meetings, and all in all, just transparency and fiscal responsibility.
Thank you. Mr. Bacher.
My number 1 priority is the education of our kids.
and that's a well-rounded education. The number 2 priority, I'd like to touch on something that Chuck said earlier. I think there is complacency. When you do have a good school district, you expect that you're going to have a school district, but there are a lot of financial challenges coming down the road. This year, the budget was cut from the state 9%. If we keep having things like that and parents don't lobby their representatives and get the word out that this is not okay to transfer the tax burden from the state income tax to the local property tax, I think we'll have increasingly more difficult challenges, budget challenges in the years to come.
Okay, thank you. You're going to continue to ask questions. I have 8:20. We should have time to ask even the remaining questions. Not sure. We may not make it through everybody's name again.